I have a theory upon depression, right? Because I was looking stuff up about common depression symptoms, and I was like, you know what? Let me just look into this, right? Because I feel like everybody claims that they have depression nowadays, especially with the internet, this and that, whatever, right? And I have multiple theories based upon depression. Like, depression could also mean that you're not getting enough dopamine, right? And my theory on dopamine is it comes from, it's not even my theory. It's like dopamine. There's good dopamine and bad dopamine, and if you're only getting bad dopamine, of course you're gonna eventually feel depressed, right? If you're just like always eating junk food because it tastes good, or you're always going on your phone because it's entertaining, or you're taking drugs or having some sort of substance abuse, of course those are, you get dopamine very on short term, but long term, of course it's gonna come back to you. It's, you access it so easily. You have to have some sort of like when it like balances, like that, I forgot the pendulum or something, right? It has to balance out eventually, so you get bad, you get depressed or whatever. But if you have like good sources of dopamine, you get sunlight, you eat healthy, you go to the gym, in the long run you will feel better about yourself. You won't be depressed, right? And so I was looking at other depression symptoms, and they were talking about like, I was looking for it in like parents wise, like can parents have, like, I know parents can have depression, but it's like I feel like a lot of people's parents might have depression, but they don't openly talk about it, maybe because mental health wasn't around when they were like, growing up, or they just don't believe. I know some parents that don't believe mental health, right? But whatever. They were talking about like, it could come from like a loss of a parent, like a parent losing a parent, whatever, or like a loss of a job, which also makes sense because they need to provide for their family, whatever the case may be. And so I thought about it, and some other people were like, you need to get, if a parent has depression or whatever, you need to get them to start rolling into like, if they lost a job, slowly start getting another job, or start doing things around the house, like cleaning, this and that, is getting the ball rolling in terms of their action. And I thought about it, and I was like, that kind of makes a lot of sense. It's like when you are in a state of depression, you want to sleep in, you want to sleep late, and you want to sleep in, right? So like you're going to bed at like 4, 5, 6 a.m. and you're waking up at 2, 3, 4 p.m., right? And that makes sense because on one end you want to be by yourself late at night, and then when you're actually sleeping, you don't want to be awoke and have to do things and have your thoughts be like, roaming around your head or whatever. And maybe you want to be isolated by yourself, so it's easy to be isolated in bed sleeping because no one will technically bother you, than to be alive and awake and with everybody, right? That's two things, right? And I think that also contributes to depression because sunlight is very, very important for just your health in so many ways. And that's the reason doctors track if you have vitamin D or this or that, and they prescribe it if you have low amount, because I don't know what the connection is, but the sun literally will help you become happy. Like if you are going to sleep late, you're going to sleep right before the sun comes out or whatever, and then you sleep in, and then the sun's pretty much damn near gone. So you need to get the sunlight in the, like when it's the brightest in the morning, right? That's one thing. And then another thing is like when you don't have a job, right? People will love complaining about working and like, oh, I hate working, this and that, I just want to be on vacation. It's like, the reason you want to be on vacation is because you're working. If you were always on vacation, vacation wouldn't feel like vacation, and that's that simple, right? So you need to get, and like everybody needs to work. When you're not working, you're like, whether you're not working a job, you still need to be working on a business or something. You need to have money coming in, this or that. And the idea of work should be something you're comfortable with. Like working should be the same thing as eating, showering, sleeping. It's something that's just a part of life. If you hate it, you're gonna hate the rest of your life, and that's no way to live, right? So the idea of work should be something you're comfortable with. Nonetheless, right? If you have no job, you literally just spend your whole day doing fucking nothing, right? You're like, as you have friends and whatever, you're like partying, this and that. Most of the time they're probably working too, but like I said, being unemployed and being employed is just as bad because, when you're working, you're like, oh, I had to wake up, I had to clock in, this and that. But it's like when you're unemployed, you're like, damn, my life fucking sucks. I have no money coming in. I'm sleeping in it. I'm sleeping too much. I'm not doing anything productive, whatever. Right? I can't afford the things that I want. Nonetheless, right, when you are working, it's like productiveness, right? Because maybe you're helping the company move forward, you're helping your own life move forward because you're making money, you're providing for someone, maybe for yourself or for your family. And so it's like I thought about it, and I literally think self-improvement, which is something that I'm actively like working on in all aspects, is like the key to never have depression. Because a lot of the people that are in this space, like some of the big names, Iman Ghatzi, Hamza, Andrew Tate, all the people will talk about how like depression is fake and this and that. And it's like, I think depression is real, right? I think I think you can definitely have it. I feel like I've had it before, and I feel like the only way to get out of it isn't through like antidepressants or like waiting it out. I don't know what the common solution is people like abide by it, but I literally think self-improvement is the way to completely get it out of like your system at all. Like you cannot have it. Like Andrew Tate talks about, like, if some guy told him that he was depressed, he'd be like, go to the gym, get abs, and tell me that you're depressed. And it's like, you'd be like, what does the gym have to do with my mental health, this and that? It's like, I believe him, because when I feel like I was closer to depression when I was fat, but then when I got into shape, it's very, very, very hard to be depressed. Not because you're like, oh, I look so good in the mirror, all the bitches want me. It's not like that. It's literally like you have a goal to actively work towards. It's like either you're losing weight or you're putting on muscle or you're trying to maintain your abs. So it's like when you have this mentality of actively achieving something, trying to reach for a goal, you don't have time to be depressed. You don't have time to think about your demons and the mistakes that you made. Mistakes happen, errors happen, issues happen, problems happen. Everything occurs. It's life, right? It's all a part of the friction. But when you have goals for yourself, it's hard to ever be like, I feel like, and another common thing I see is like the people that are depressed, I ask them what their goals are and they never have any. And I swear on everything that has to be tied, because in the book I just recently read, Psycho-Cybernetics, it literally talks about how your body is a servo mechanism and you feed it ideas and goals that you want, and it looks for ways to make those things become true and actually happen. It's like the whole idea of manifestation and stuff like that, and it's a part of your self-image. So if someone who says, I have no goals, I have nothing to accomplish, why wouldn't they be the type to be like, yeah, I want to end it all, I want to end my life? You have nothing to reach for. You're telling your body there's nothing to work for, there's no reason to live. So obviously it's going to start looking for ideas to prove that, and then you start repeating it to yourself. And like when you start repeating negative things to yourself, your brain starts to believe it. If you tell yourself, oh, I'm the type of person to always be late, you're always going to be late, because that's the type of person you believe yourself to be, right? And so I feel like if you have depression, you need to figure out the smallest steps that you can do to get into self-improvement. And once you start getting into the small ones, you'll see the progress and you'll slowly start getting out of the depression, and then it just, your life will actively continue to get better because you're on self-improvement, right? So maybe you're depressed and you do nothing all day, right? Start by waking up early, take a walk in the morning, eat a little bit healthier, start going to the gym. If you don't have a job, get a job. It doesn't matter how much, the money does not matter in that sense. Just get a job, just to get yourself out of bed, just have an obligation in life, just to start producing some sort of money, right? And the other things will start adding up. You wake up in the morning, get sunlight, you eat healthier to get in better shape, and just when you look better, you feel better, all that's connected. You go to the gym, now you have a goal of, you see all those people that are working out in very good shape. Everybody's, they're somewhat admirable, right? You're like, okay, I want to put on muscle, I want to have abs. And then when you start working the job, you say, okay, I want to make more money. How can I move up in this company? How can I have my own business? This and that. You start reading more books to get more information. And you're like, okay, well, I did this information I never knew of. How did they think of this? How I didn't know self-image was this important. I didn't know psycho-cybernetics was this important. I didn't know the idea of like letting go of your ego that had so much different effects, this and that, right? I didn't know Rockefeller ran business like this and that, right? You start learning so much, right? You start looking into your finances. Okay, how can I save money? How can I make more? How can I invest my money to make my money work for me? And then it's like, self-improvement has so many aspects. It's not like something to be like, oh, that's cringy, I don't want to be on self-improvement. It's not like that. It's like self-improvement is just the way you live your life on a way of just constantly having goals in different aspects. It's like whether you accomplish those goals, I genuinely believe anyone that has a goal will eventually accomplish it. It's just how long are you willing to wait without quitting. If you set a goal, oh, I want to have abs, I want to be a millionaire, I want to have a beautiful wife, you will get it. As long as you continuously think about it and you feed your ideas to your mind, it will eventually accomplish it, but it is going to take longer time, and you need to actively be working towards. You can't be like, oh, I hope a Porsche spawns in my driveway. No, you need to be like, okay, I want a Porsche. How can I get one? Look at the cost. How much do I make now? How long would it take? How can I compress the timeline? This and that. So you just need to actively have goals and actively work towards them. And it's literally impossible to have depression in that sense. And like I'm telling you, if you don't believe me, ask a depressed person what their goals are. Ask a depressed person who's on antidepressants, when do they think they can get off of them? And like I think the only way to make antidepressants actually work is to have it for only a week supply or a month supply at most, to get them out of the initial depression stage. So it's like a jump start, right? They get it and they can't use it again, because once you're on a pill, you become addicted no matter what, right? You use that first month of antidepressants to get a job, to start waking up early, to do all the things that you can in that month time, because that's all possible. And then you get off of it, but now you have a lifestyle. you have a job, you go to the gym, you read books, you study your finances, you try to learn something every day. You're doing all these little things, you're taking care of your hygiene, you have a skincare routine, all these little things that you can do them all within a month and change your life forever. I'm telling you, not that depression isn't real, but it's curable. You just need to be on self-improvement.